The Young and the Restless spoilers Mondays full February 10, 2025 Shadows of Deception and the Promise of Truth in Genoa. Genoa had always been a city of secrets, where every street corner whispered old grudges and hidden ambitions. Yet nothing could have prepared its inhabitants for the storm that was about to break, a storm that would shake the very foundations of their intertwined lives. As twilight settled over the sprawling cityscape, a series of events unfolded that would forever alter the lives of those caught in its relentless grip. The night air was cool and brisk as rumors began circulating about a mysterious arrival. Word spread quickly, Damian had truly come to Genoa. For years, whispers had suggested that he was nothing more than a phantom from a distant state, a shadowy figure whose legacy was wrapped in controversy. But now, he had arrived in person, his presence as undeniable as it was electrifying. His mission was clear, to expose and apprehend Holdam, the man who had dared to impersonate him. Holdam's deception had gone unchecked for far too long, and Damian's arrival signaled that the reckoning was at hand. Damian's reputation had always been larger than life. Known for his relentless pursuit of justice and his unwavering determination to reclaim what was rightfully his, he had carved out a formidable presence wherever he went. His arrival in Genoa was no mere coincidence, it was a calculated move in a high-stakes game of power and retribution. As he strode through the city's neon-lit streets, his eyes burned with an intensity that left no doubt about his purpose, to dismantle Holdam's web of lies and restore order to a chaotic system. News of Damian's arrival did more than just send shockwaves through the underworld, it also touched those bound by blood and loyalty in ways they had never imagined. Nate, a key figure in the family's intricate mosaic, found himself grappling with a mixture of disbelief and admiration. He had always known that his real brother possessed a unique talent and an unyielding spirit, but seeing him in action now filled Nate with both pride and trepidation. The thought of a long-overdue reunion sparked hope in Nate's heart. Could the brothers, separated by circumstance and deceit, finally come together in peace and happiness? That possibility, however, was a threat to Holdam's carefully constructed empire. The impersonator would not allow such unity to occur. If anything, he would stop at nothing to ensure that chaos reigned, even if it meant bloodshed along the way. In the midst of this high-stakes drama, other personal battles were quietly unfolding. Sally, ever the beacon of contentment amid turmoil, found herself savoring a rare moment of genuine happiness. Her love had blossomed in a way that seemed almost miraculous, a gentle counterpoint to the turbulent power plays swirling around her. However, not everyone shared in her delight. Phyllis, a woman whose sharp tongue and calculating mind were as notorious as her ambition, was determined to shatter Sally's newfound peace. With a fervor that bordered on obsession, Phyllis set out to awaken the rational side of Billy, a man whose heart had become too tender and too easily swayed by emotion, in a misguided attempt to dismantle the very love that had brought Sally joy. Sally, fiercely protective of her happiness and her right to love freely, warned Phyllis in no uncertain terms, "Leave my love alone. Don't ever come between what's mine." Her words, firm and resolute, echoed in the corridors of their shared world. For Sally, the battle was not just about defending her heart, it was about asserting her right to live without interference from those who sought to dictate her emotions. Elsewhere in Genoa, a subplot of romance provided a refreshing counterbalance to the tension. Kyle, ever the romantic, had whisked Claire away on a delightful date that seemed to erase the scars of past conflicts. They wandered through the city's vibrant districts, laughing and sharing secrets under a star-filled sky. Their moment of bliss was a quiet reminder that love could still flourish in a place so marred by deceit and strife. However, not everyone was content to watch from the sidelines. Summer, with her keen eyes and hidden longing, observed the couple with a mixture of admiration and envy. Every smile they exchanged, every tender glance, only deepened the ache in her heart. Though Summer longed to be part of that happy tableau, she could only stand at a distance, powerless to claim what was not hers. Yet even in her jealousy, there was a silent acknowledgement. If they were meant to be together, then love would triumph, regardless of her personal desires. Back at the heart of the unfolding drama, Damian's confrontation with Holdam loomed like an impending storm. The impostor had woven himself into the fabric of Genoa's elite, manipulating alliances and sowing discord at every turn. But now, the scales of justice were tipping. Damian's plan was meticulous. He had spent countless nights gathering evidence, mapping out every deceitful maneuver that Holdam had orchestrated. The day of reckoning was nigh. With the support of allies who had grown tired of Holdam's tyranny, Damian was determined to unmask the fraud and restore balance. In a tense showdown that drew a crowd of both allies and adversaries, Damian's piercing gaze met Holdam's shifty eyes. The confrontation was electric, a battle of wits and wills that left everyone on the edge of their seats. Holdam's once confident facade began to crumble as Damian laid bare the truth. Every lie, every stolen identity, was called into question. The audience watched in collective silence as the impostor's carefully constructed world threatened to collapse, brick by brick. And amid the chaos, Nate couldn't help but wonder if this was the beginning of a reunion long prophesied, a chance for him to reconnect with the brother he had always admired but rarely seen. Yet, as the confrontation escalated, danger lurked at every corner. Holdam, desperate to cling to his false power, wasn't prepared to surrender without a fight. His machinations had reached far into the heart of Genoa's underworld, and he was willing to unleash unspeakable violence to protect his secrets. Rumors of casualties began to spread like wildfire, casting a dark pall over the city's once celebratory mood. In the shadow of imminent conflict, every heartbeat was a reminder that the price of truth could be steep indeed. As the saga of betrayal, reunion, and heartache continued to weave its intricate tapestry, each character found themselves at a crossroads. For Damian, the journey was about reclaiming his identity and righting past wrongs. For Nate, it was the hope of uniting with his true kin and forging a future free from deception. For Sally and Claire, it was the bittersweet realization that love, though fragile, could persist even amid the harshest storms. And for Summer, it was a quiet struggle, a secret yearning to be seen and cherished in a world where happiness often seemed reserved for others. In Genoa, the battle between truth and deception was not merely a conflict of identities but a fight for the soul of a community. Each revelation, each whispered accusation, and every heartfelt declaration of love and loyalty painted a portrait of a city determined to redefine itself. In this crucible of emotions and power, alliances shifted as quickly as the wind, and every character was forced to confront the possibility that the bonds they cherished might be nothing more than illusions. Damian's arrival was the spark that ignited this turbulent period, but the true fire lay in the hearts of those who dared to love, to rebel, and to seek justice in a world where loyalty was as fragile as glass. As the final act drew near, every step taken by each character promised to reshape the future of Genoa. The question that now hung over the city was whether unity and truth would prevail over deceit and ambition, or whether the cost of such a battle would prove too high, leaving nothing but ashes and regret in its wake. In the midst of these swirling emotions, one thing remained certain: Genoa would never be the same again. And as each character faced their personal demons and celebrated the flickers of hope amid the darkness, the legacy of their intertwined lives would forever serve as a testament to the power of love, the resilience of truth, and the unyielding human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. This narrative weaves together the dramatic arrival of Damian, whose mission is to expose Holdam's treacherous impersonation, with the heartfelt, and sometimes painful, journeys of those seeking love and belonging. In Genoa, where every secret is a potential weapon and every alliance a fragile truce, the fight for truth and the promise of reconciliation drive each character forward, promising a future where the bonds of family and the power of love might ultimately prevail despite the pervasive shadows of deception. The game of deception and power in Genoa had seen its fair share of betrayals, power struggles, and whispered secrets, but few could match the sheer magnitude of the storm that was brewing now. In a city where trust was a commodity as rare as honesty, Amy found herself caught in a web so intricate that even she, a woman known for her sharp instincts, had been ensnared. Amy's realization. The spy among them. The weight of betrayal pressed against Amy's chest as she replayed every interaction, every conversation, every moment that had led her here. She had been so sure that Nate was walking into this battle prepared, yet somehow, Holdam had been waiting for him. Waiting. That realization sent a chill down her spine. It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't luck. It was premeditated. Holdam had known Nate was coming. Which meant there was a spy. Amy clenched her fists, her mind racing through possibilities. Someone within their circle had leaked information to Holdam. Someone had whispered Nate's plans to the enemy, ensuring that Holdam wasn't caught off guard. But who? And why? Holdam had always been cunning, but this level of foresight, meant he had embedded himself far deeper into Genoa's power networks than they had ever imagined. Was it an outsider, or had he managed to turn one of their own against them? The very thought made Amy sick. If they were going to take down Holdam and expose his masquerade as Damian, they needed to find the leak before it was too late. Otherwise, every move they made would be shadowed by his counterattacks. Victor's decision, Nikki and the throne of Newman Enterprises. While Amy battled with her suspicions, another war was unfolding at the very top of Genoa's power structure. Inside the grand estate of the Newman family, tension crackled in the air like an impending storm. Victor Newman, the titan of industry and the man who had built Newman Enterprises from the ground up, sat across from his wife, Nikki, his expression unreadable but his voice laced with disappointment. "I don't want you as my successor," Victor declared bluntly, his deep voice carrying the weight of finality. Nikki's eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" "You heard me," Victor said. He leaned forward, his piercing gaze locking onto hers. "You are not the right person to take over Newman Enterprises. I don't trust you to run it the way it needs to be run." Nikki's breath caught in her throat. Of all the things she had expected Victor to say, this wasn't one of them. She had stood by his side for decades, endured every storm, every crisis, every power grab. And now, when the throne was finally within reach, he was denying her the right to rule? Anger flared in her chest. "Victor, I have been with you through everything. I have watched you build this company, I have supported every decision you've made, and I own more shares than anyone else. You don't get to decide whether I'm worthy." "I am worthy." Victor's expression darkened. "Owning shares doesn't make you a leader, Nikki. This isn't about deserving the company. It's about protecting it. And you," he shook his head. "You're too ambitious for your own good. You don't see the long game. You're making the same mistakes that have brought down countless powerful people before you." Nikki's hands trembled, but her voice remained steady. "And what, Victor? You think Adam is a better choice? Or maybe Victoria? Who exactly do you want sitting in your chair when you're gone?" Victor's jaw tightened. "I don't want anyone sitting in my chair. Because I'm not going anywhere." The silence that followed was suffocating. Nikki's ambition versus Victor's legacy. For years, Nikki had understood that Victor was a man who could never truly let go. But she had earned her place at the top. She had fought for this. And now, just because of Victor's stubborn need for control, he was willing to deny her what she had rightfully claimed. "Victor, I will be running this company," Nikki said coldly. "Whether you like it or not. You may not trust me, but the board will see the truth. I am the best option for Newman Enterprises. And I will fight to prove it." Victor exhaled sharply, shaking his head in disappointment. "This is exactly why I can't trust you, Nikki. You're making this about yourself. About your power. But let me tell you something, Newman Enterprises is bigger than you. Bigger than me. Bigger than any one person. If you think for 1 second that I'll allow you to run this company into the ground because of your pride, you're mistaken." A bitter laugh escaped Nikki's lips. "Oh, please. The only reason you won't let go of control is because you're afraid, Victor. You're afraid of what happens when you're no longer calling the shots. You think you're going to die in your office chair, still pulling the strings?" Victor's eyes darkened. "I will never die in peace knowing that my company is in reckless hands. The war for Newman Enterprises begins." Nikki stood, her heart pounding in her chest. "Then I suppose we'll see who wins this war, won't we?" Victor didn't reply. He simply sat there, watching as the woman he had spent a lifetime loving walked away, this time, not as his wife, but as his rival. For years, the battle over Newman Enterprises had been fought between Victor's children. But now, it was between Victor and Nikki themselves. And in Genoa, power was never handed over peacefully. Holdam's next move, a bloody reckoning while the Newman family fractured from within, Holdam knew that his own reckoning was fast approaching. Damian's arrival had shifted the game, but Holdam had played this game long enough to know one thing: if he was going down, he was not going alone. As he watched Nate move closer to discovering the truth, Holdam smirked to himself. His network was deep. His spies were everywhere. And if Nate thought he could waltz in and claim a happy reunion with his real brother Damian, he was gravely mistaken. There would be casualties. There would be pain. Because Holdam would rather burn Genoa to the ground than let it be his prison. The city was about to bleed. What happens next? Amy and Nate must uncover the spy within their ranks before Holdam strikes first. Victor and Nikki's battle for control over Newman Enterprises intensifies, threatening to split the family apart. Holdam prepares to launch his most dangerous attack yet, one that will leave Genoa changed forever. Damian is ready to reclaim his identity, but at what cost? Genoa has always been a city of power plays and shifting alliances, but this time, the game is more dangerous than ever. With betrayal lurking in every shadow and ambition tearing families apart, only one question remains: who will survive the storm?